Welcome to your U.S. Market Brief. All the key stock news, none of the noise. Like and subscribe to support us and stay informed. Here are the brief highlights of today's top stories. The man behind OpenAI's global expansion and its effort to win the enterprise. Alibaba shares jump 19% on cloud unit acceleration, report of new iChip. Novo Nordisk up 3% after Wegovy outperforms rivals in heart disease trial. China's Xi urges AI cooperation, rejects Cold War mentality at SCO summit. Trump tariffs that are voided by, and ones that are safe from, Friday's appeals court ruling. BYD shares fall nearly 8% as second quarter profit slumps 30% on China EV price war. Here's what it really means for Trump to get control of the Federal Reserve Board. Asia markets close mixed as investors assess China's RatingDog manufacturing data. Billionaire founder Lucy Guo first made money as a kid on the playground. Here's how to get the $7,500 EV tax credit, even after the Sept 30 deadline. China's August factory activity beats estimates, expanding at fastest pace in 5 months, private survey. Rudy Giuliani hospitalized with serious injuries after New Hampshire car accident. Trump trade advisor blasts tariff ruling, calling it weaponized partisan injustice. Rhode Island's Taylor Swift tax on vacation homes of the wealthy is spreading to other states. Other nations mandate retirement savings, the U.S. does not. Here's why it matters. Now, let's dive deeper into the details. Sam Altman needed someone to manage OpenAI finances in 2018.
OpenAI was a nonprofit with 40 employees, no product, and no revenue.
Altman asked Brad Lightcap, from Y Combinator, to help with the search.
Lightcap interviewed over 20 people, but no one wanted the job.
So, Lightcap became the first business hire.
7 years later, Lightcap is now operating chief of a multi-billion-dollar startup with 3,000 employees.
His goal is to transform OpenAI from a consumer phenomenon to an enterprise force.
This week, OpenAI announced new offices in Brazil, Australia, and India.
Alibaba shares listed in Hong Kong jumped over 19% on Monday.
This surge was driven by strong quarterly results from the Chinese tech giant's cloud computing unit.
News also emerged about Alibaba developing a new artificial intelligence chip.
This is the highest stock price since March.
Investors are pleased with the company's improving cloud unit performance.
They also support Alibaba's investment in new areas like instant commerce.
Instant commerce is a highly competitive market in China.
This Hong Kong rally follows Alibaba's earnings report released on Friday.
Novo Nordisk shares rose 3% after positive trial data for their weight loss drug, Wegovy.
The study showed Wegovy, also known as semaglutide, significantly reduced heart disease risks compared to rival drugs.
Wegovy outperformed Eli Lilly and Company's tirzepatide, the active ingredient in Mounjaro and Zepbound, by up to 57% in preventing heart attack, stroke, or death.
This news comes as Novo Nordisk faces challenges, with Denmark lowering its economic growth forecast partly due to the company's declining United States market share.
The competition in the weight loss market is intensifying as investors closely watch the performance of these key drugs.
Despite Novo Nordisk's struggles, European markets showed overall growth, with the stock's 600 index up 0.3%.
Denmark's lowered forecast also cited declining exports and challenges with tariffs and generic competitors affecting Novo Nordisk.
This positive trial data for Wegovy offers a boost for Novo Nordisk amid these economic concerns.
Chinese President Xi Jinping urged Shanghai Cooperation Organization members to increase artificial intelligence cooperation.
He rejected what he termed a Cold War mentality at the organization's largest summit ever.
The summit took place in Tianjin with over 20 foreign leaders present, including Vladimir Putin and Narendra Modi.
This meeting occurs as China positions itself as a global peacemaker amid trade tensions with the United States.
China has invested $84 billion in other organization member countries.
President Xi also pledged support for 10,000 students to join Beijing's Lubin vocational program.
He stated the summit offers a chance to create a new era of high-quality development and cooperation.
Before his remarks, President Xi met briefly with Modi and Putin for a photo session with all members.
A federal appeals court ruled against President Trump this week, declaring most of his reciprocal tariffs illegal.
The court found that President Trump exceeded his authority by imposing tariffs on numerous countries.
These tariffs, part of an April 2 announcement, initially targeted nearly 69% of United States goods imports.
If the ruling stands, the impact will be reduced to approximately 16%.
This decision creates uncertainty around a key element of President Trump's economic strategy.
The tariffs, some as high as 50%, will remain until October 14, pending a potential appeal.
The ruling affects tariffs on numerous countries, including those previously imposed on Mexico, Canada, and China.
President Trump justified the tariffs citing the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act.
BYD shares dropped almost 8% after the company reported lower second-quarter profits.
The Chinese electric vehicle maker saw profits fall 30% compared to last year.
This drop comes despite an increase in overseas sales which boosted overall revenue.
Intense price competition in China is impacting BYD and the wider electric vehicle industry.
Retail car prices in China have fallen about 19% over the last 2 years.
Chinese authorities have expressed concerns about the ongoing price war.
Despite the second-quarter slump, BYD's first-half profits are still up 14%.
BYD is expanding into new global markets like Europe to offset domestic competition.
President Donald Trump is attempting to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Guo.
This move could significantly impact the Federal Reserve, an institution traditionally considered independent from politics.
Since January, President Trump has challenged the Fed, criticizing interest rates and threatening to remove Chair Jerome Powell.
He views lower rates as a way to manage the national debt and support the housing market.
However, experts warn that politicizing the Fed could undermine the United States financial system.
They argue that the Fed's credibility, built over decades, is at risk.
The Fed's independence allows it to make monetary policy decisions that are best for the economy, even if unpopular.
If President Trump gains control of the Federal Reserve Board, he could influence key aspects of the economy.
Asia-Pacific markets saw mixed trading Monday as investors reacted to China's RatingDog manufacturing data.
August's metric reached 50.5, up from July's contraction of 49.5.
Data released Sunday showed China's manufacturing PMI at 49.4 in August, slightly improved from 49.3 the prior month.
Investors are also watching India-China relations following a regional security summit.
Leaders from both nations agreed on a development partnership during the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting.
Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index climbed 2.17% to 25,617.42, boosted by Alibaba Group's 18.58% surge.
Mainland China's CSI 300 saw a modest 0.6% increase, closing at 4,523.71.
Japan's Nikkei 225 dropped 1.24% to 42,188.79, dragged down by semiconductor makers.
Billionaire Lucy Guo developed an entrepreneurial spirit early in life.
Her frugal upbringing motivated her to start earning money as a child.
At 30 years old, she is Forbes' youngest self-made billionaire, with a net worth of $1.3 billion.
Her first company, Scale AI, was acquired by Meta in a deal valuing it at $25 billion.
Guo now leads Passes, a content creator monetization platform launched in 2022.
She also founded Backend Ventures, a venture capital firm investing in early-stage tech startups.
Guo, raised by Chinese immigrant parents in Fremont, California, was encouraged to excel academically.
She studied computer science at Carnegie Mellon University but left before graduating to pursue entrepreneurship.
A federal tax credit for electric vehicles is expiring after September 30.
However, the Internal Revenue Service recently clarified there is some flexibility.
The credit, worth up to $7,500, was part of a tax and spending measure.
Initially, it was thought consumers needed physical possession by September 30.
The Internal Revenue Service clarified a written binding contract and payment by September 30 qualifies.
This means consumers can claim the credit even if they receive the vehicle after September 30.
This applies to new, used, and leased electric vehicles.
Consumers can order, sign a contract, and make a deposit by the deadline.
China's manufacturing activity unexpectedly grew in August.
A private survey showed growth driven by new orders and exports.
This follows an extended trade truce with the United States.
The RatingDog Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index reached 50.5.
This exceeded economist estimates of 49.7 and signals the fastest expansion since March.
Improved export orders suggest resilience despite tariffs.
However, gains in overall output and new orders were less pronounced.
This suggests little improvement in domestic demand.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani was hospitalized Saturday after a car accident in New Hampshire.
The 81-year-old Giuliani suffered a fractured vertebra and other injuries.
Giuliani was a passenger in a rented Ford Bronco driven by his spokesperson, Ted Goodman.
Their vehicle was struck from behind by a Honda HR-V driven by a 19-year-old woman.
New Hampshire State Police reported that troopers witnessed the crash.
Both vehicles sustained heavy damage after hitting the highway median.
Goodman and the other driver received non-life-threatening injuries.
The accident is under investigation, and no charges have been filed.
Former White House trade advisor Peter Navarro criticized a recent appeals court ruling against President Trump's tariffs.
Navarro made his remarks on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures program.
He described the ruling as weaponized partisan injustice.
The appeals court decision declared most of Trump's tariffs illegal.
Navarro echoed President Trump's concern, saying a loss in the Supreme Court would be the end of the United States.
The Supreme Court is likely to make the final decision on the tariffs.
Navarro expressed optimism about the administration's arguments for the Supreme Court.
He believes a strong dissenting opinion provides a roadmap for a successful appeal.
States are increasing taxes on expensive second homes.
This trend is causing concern among real estate professionals and potential buyers.
Rhode Island and Montana are among the states implementing these tax hikes.
Similar proposals are being considered in Cape Cod and Los Angeles.
These taxes aim to generate revenue from high-value properties.
Critics argue these taxes unfairly target significant local spenders.
Rhode Island's new tax is nicknamed the Taylor Swift tax.
It adds a surcharge on second homes valued over $1 million.
Retirement funding varies significantly across the globe.
While the United States relies heavily on voluntary 401k plans, other countries mandate contributions or provide traditional pensions.
The Mercer CFA Institute Global Pension Index considers these differences when ranking retirement systems.
Christine Mahoney, global pensions leader at Mercer, explained that the index aims to provide a comprehensive view of the retirement landscape.
They analyze public and private systems to assess retirement outcomes.
The United States received a C+ rating and ranked 29th out of 48 systems in 2024.
Mahoney stated this indicates a solid system but with significant risks.
Without addressing these risks, the United States retirement system could face jeopardy.
That's a wrap on this episode of US Market Brief. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next time with more stock market updates, earnings highlights, and insights from Wall Street.